Thank you. Now we call upon the next contestant, My Home, to come present.
So I only printed one business proposal, so please share and pass to your committee.
Hi, I'm Ethan Hong, and today I'm going to propose my business idea, Drone Protect. Today I'll be going through the company's overview, product description, SWOT analysis, target market, and finances. First, at Drone Protect, we aim to become the global leader in innovation, manufacture, and development of drone products that fulfill public safety purposes and protect citizens and facilities from hazardous situations. Our mission statement is to reinvent public safety methods by offering innovative drone solutions at a revolutionary price. Our four long-term goals are: first, become a recognized brand; second, promote product advantages to industry users; third, develop relationships with potential buyers; and fourth, achieve a positive net income. I'm delighted to present our product, Cellman Multifunctional Drone. And here is a simple design that I made using a 3D modeling software. You can find all of its tax specs and components in my written business proposal if you're interested. In short, it has 16 rotors developed by a world-class drone company called DJI. And with 16 rotors, it can lift up an object in the air at a maximum 272 kilograms, while its own weight is only 25.62. As well, you can also find my physics calculations in one of my bibliography I use in the written proposal. Its first feature is aerial firefighting. Conventionally and traditionally, when a high-rise is on fire, fire trucks are sent to the location to use their centimeter ladders to put out the fire. However, these ladders take around 6 minutes to extend fully, and when there are fires that exceed the operating range of these ladders, firefighters usually need to go inside buildings and fight fires while risking their lives. And due to the extremely solid materials used to build these ladders, each ladder truck, which are provided by our two competitors, E1 and Pierce, costs around $840,000. Our drone offers an intelligent solution and overcomes the traditional limits of aerial firefighting. First, the exact same nozzle used by fire trucks will be installed on our drone, and an electric wire and water hose will be extended from a fire truck on the ground to the drone to ensure its unlimited flight time and water supply. A voltage converter is used to effectively reduce the size and weight of the wire. According to my physics calculations, the drone's 272 overall thrust can effectively counter the reaction force while lifting itself up, maintaining in the air against the gravity force. Our drone is revolutionary, as a drone can fly to 200 meters and above within only 27 seconds, and without using any manpower involved, and it has the same efficiency as it uses the exact same nozzle as the fire truck. And the cost of an aerial firefighting drone plus a water truck, which supplies water and electricity to the drone, costs total $69,000, which is 12 times cheaper than the original method. The cost of all the components used to build this drone, which I found on different industry suppliers' websites, is $15,721.9, which you can also find all the components in my written proposal. And the price I intended to sell it at is $18,770. Its next feature is forest firefighting. Conventionally, when there is a wildfire in the wild, firefighters are first brought by airplanes to a system near the fire and with enough water, supply, and equipment. Then they start gathering information about geography, humidities, wind, and the fire conditions to determine how to put out the wildfire. However, because this data and information are manually obtained, they may be inaccurate, which result in failed operations. But with a drone brought to the site, it can constantly monitor the situation from the sky using a thermal detector, high-resolution camera, and wind sensor. The purpose of gathering information is to build fire lines, which are gaps in vegetation and combustibles that act as barriers to stop the fire. However, due to inaccurate information obtained by firefighters and their inefficient planning, the fire lines may be underestimated, which result in failed operations, or overestimated, which result in wasted work, resources, and time. The 2016 Alberta wildfire, I believe that you guys have all heard of it, and it destroyed 2,600 buildings and resulted in a 9.9 billion financial loss. The official report is that the failure to control the fire was caused by inefficient planning and rapid environmental changes that the firefighters failed to recognize and consider when building fire lines. When our drones brought to the site, and send it back to the firefighters on the ground to help organize deployment. Rapidly preventive. The cost of all the components to build this drone is $32,000, which includes 6 lithium batteries that are brought to the site by the airplane to support the drone to fly throughout operation. And the price I intend to sell at is $60,000. The last purpose that our drone can fulfill is rescue. Each year, 8,000 people die from falling through the ice, and 2,500 people die from fire incidents. More suffer physical aftermath trauma due to inefficient rescue. Sometimes rescuers fail to operate fast enough to save the innocents. And when these tragedies happen, time is life, and our drone offers an intelligent solution. When a victim is discovered, the drone can be immediately deployed and fly towards the victim at a lightning speed faster than any vehicles. And then it drops a harness right above the victim and try to pull him or her up and away from the ice or fire. And you might consider that the victims might fall unconscious and become unable to put on the harness for themselves due to fire, smoke, and ice freezing. That's why we're going to use a special technology called soft robot. Soft robotics are the robots made of highly compliant and transformational materials that have human hand-like dexterity, and we can use them as agile tentacles to effectively catch our victims and help them put on the harness. The cost of all the components for this drone, which includes a 30-minute battery, is $14,000, and the price I intend to sell at is $18,000. Now I will be going through the SWOT analysis of my business model. First, we have a few strengths. For example, our competitive edge as our products surpass and challenge the status quo. Our product is also cost efficient as it is comparatively cheaper than ladder trucks and traditional methods. And it's unique. Its multifunctional design also adds value to the product and saves design costs for ourselves. Our weaknesses include high startup cost for our tech company, which is listed in my written proposal, and absence of reputation. Our opportunities include an increasing demand in the industry. Studies estimate an $800 million market between now and 2020 for the public safety use of drones. There is also global warming, which results in more fire and ice incidents that result in more victims and increasing demand in the industry. We're likely to get government support since our product relates to public safety and public goods, so they're likely to provide us financial or technical support. Our threats include competition, as there are lots of long-established companies in the field, such as E1 and peers. There's also a consumer reluctancy to accepting drone-based rescue and fire operations, because rescue and public safety is a delicate field in everyone's mind, and people prefer human-based operations than AI or drone-based. But with the right kind of promotion, we believe that we can effectively remove this threat. Our target market is the 3,700 Canadian fire departments who look for products that are secure, user-friendly, and require less training. That is why we're going to make our products as user-friendly and secure as possible. They will purchase from us because our products provide security for their firefighters and provide a higher efficiency than ladder trucks, and it also fulfills multiple purposes and at a revolutionary price. The third marketing strategy I intend to use is first, direct outreach, which means to reach out to prospective clients, the upper level managers of fire departments through personalized emails and phone calls, which are obtained from websites like LinkedIn and by visiting their fire associations. Two, attending Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs trade show, which happens every year and we're going to attend the trade show to raise our awareness and forge business relations. Third, advertise on trade journals such as Firefighter Nation that are possibly subscribed by the upper level managers in the field. And here are the drone products finances. I believe that I have listed all the startup costs on my written proposal, which costs around $200,000 for including development, startup, and all the miscellaneous costs involved in the startup. And the year one gross profits is going to be estimated between $850,000 and $1,500,000 as we sell anywhere between 10 to 25 forest firefighting drones, 50 to 90 area firefighting drones, and 170 to 300 area rescue drones. And in the first year, this is only the gross profits for 6 months, as we need to spend approximately 6 months for the development of the product and the marketing and to connect with our potential buyers. And if I still have some time left, I would like to introduce the governance structure of my business. First, we have CEO, which is going to be me, who monitors routine operations. Of course, it must be me. And know the risk appetite and make decisions for the business.
I won't give you that. I give you money, don't worry.
Thank you very much. And Chief Financial Officer, who manage and analyze financial actions of the company. Human Resources Group, who plan, direct, and coordinate all the administrative functions and recruiting requirements for the business. Also Marketing Management, who manage consumer relations and selling and reach out to our clients and sell our products to these industry users. Also Operations and IT Group, who develop software and hardware of the drone and report progress to CEO. Chief Risk Officer, who monitor product risk review and validation and conduct ongoing monitoring on our products, as well as client services who handle complaints and send it back to the IT group to handle this risk, to handle the risks proposed by our clients. And due to the startup nature of my business proposal, some of these roles are going to be fulfilled by multiple departments. For example, the operations and IT group will also assume the role of Chief Risk Officer, and me as a CEO may also be assumed the role of Chief Financial Officer and Human Resources Group. As for a startup business, it's not it doesn't have a big scale, and one person can be assumed as many roles to effectively save the cost. Now I'd be glad to take any questions you may have by this point.
Yeah, one question I had. Had you thought at all about, if there's going to be sort of any training that you're going to be giving to, is it firefighters or drone operators that are going to actually be operating the drones? Because I think that could also be a relevant revenue opportunity for you as well.
Have you ever used a drone, or have you ever used a drone?
Kind of like a toy one, not an actual commercial one.
So, due to the development of AI and the booming drone industry, drones nowadays are becoming ever more easy to operate. And I believe that in the future, when we actually build this drone, it will require as few training as possible to the firefighters and drone operators.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. So number one, very great presentation. I think I commend you for the fact that you're taking these innovative solutions and applying it to something that's very pressing, something that's for fire safety, improving public health, public safety as well. I think that's kind of a nice twist that you did compared to some of the other business plans I've seen in the past. I think what interests me a lot is from your idea is the fact that using drones to gather information with wildfires, right? So I know that California is a state that's been devastated by wildfires. So I think, it's a very interesting idea, and I think as a next step, you should reach out to some of these forest firefighters to, understand what they do, to understand, to better target, better develop your product to fit their actual needs. But I think it's a very interesting idea. Thank you.
I want to say that, first of all, congratulations on the proposal. It's very well written, very detailed. But my one question would be, how is it cost efficient? Like compared to what? Compared to the industry right now? Compared to what would you be eliminating?
So for the aerial firefighting part, it's 12 times cheaper than traditional ladder trucks, which because it costs around $69,000 plus the water, including the water truck and the drone itself for the entire operation. While the traditional cost is around $840,000 due to the extremely solid materials to use to build huge scale ladders. And for the wildfire fighting, for the rescue part too, as our drones can effectively eliminate the use of manpower in wild rescues. And typically, I believe that the salary of each ice and fire rescuer is around, I've written it in my proposal, and I believe that it's around $30,000. And if you, the yearly salary is around $30,000 or above. And if you look at the price of my rescue drone, it's a lot cheaper, despite the fact that it's going to use electricity. And usually each rescue operation will take around 2 people to operate, as you can see from this ice rescue operation image. One person is lying on the ice to grab the victim, and one person is back here to pull the rope back and save the rescue, to save the victim.
Did you consider the cost of maintaining these drones? Because when they're in there, they get hit. I know they hit birds, they hit planes.
So as I mentioned before, the drone is going to use rotors developed by a world-class company called DJI, and their propulsion system is actually very stable. And on their website, they specifically mentioned that their rotors can operate in between temperatures of I believe -15 to 30, and it has is waterproof and it has higher thermal resistance.
Thank you.
Just some comment. Very good, actually, the very good presentation, particularly for all these materials. Looks like very technical to us, right? Some comments that maybe you can use to improve the project. I would say, bring the idea, talk about a drone and something that we experience in our lives. The question would be how feasible when you think about that such a high-rise building, you have to use a drone to get the water to the top, and would that be feasible? That's, yeah.
Yeah, in my physics calculation sheet, I calculated both the weight of the drone and the water hose and also electric wire, and I have calculated the physics behind the drone and to prove whether or not it can lift itself up against the gravity force while countering the reaction force of the nozzle that is used by fire trucks too. And I believe that to carry the amount of water is actually not a big problem, as there is going to be a water pump on the ground used by fire trucks to constantly pump the water to the air, which means that I believe that the weight of water that the drone actually carries is going to be close to 0, as the drone has a vertical force, as the pump provides a vertical force towards the drone, for the water towards the drone.
Right, very good. So think about it, you can also use a helicopter to do everything, right?
Yeah.
So in your SWOT analysis, talk about the competition. Well, we can use something like a helicopter, maybe even cheaper, rather than to develop something new.
No.
That could be the concern when you think about it, you have to the marketing. Speaking of the marketing, I think one thing would be you use the LinkedIn, right? The professional, that's very good. But your potential buyers would be a fire station, the government agencies. So the trade show will be a good one. I'm not quite sure. Maybe you have to think about others to talk to different organizations, so that you can find a potential, buyer for your products, and also for the first year projection. I'm not quite sure when do you start counter the first year, if it's completely new like you think 10 or 20, 25, etc., would that be feasible? Once again, it's about the feasibility studies. Otherwise, a very good proposal.
Thank you.
Okay, as a CEO of your company,
Pardon?
as a CEO, you are CEO of a company, do you think how much does it cost to starting your company and how you get this money?
$200,000 approximately, and I'll be looking for investment from venture capitalists and also other investment opportunities, and possibly it is likely for us to gain government support because our products benefits the public, and we want to negotiate and gain partnership with the government since our product relate to the public safety and benefit the public, and gain financial support and technical support from them accordingly.
So you mean from the venture investment company? That's the only way you get to raise the money?
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. For sure.
Or Michael can invest.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you, but you are different kind of style with me because you must be a scientist or something like that.
Yeah. I have a passion.
But normally scientists cannot be CEO. You know, GE, General Electronic, the Einstein, you know,
yeah.
He funded the GE, and he has so many technology, but he cannot be a CEO. And then somebody investment here. Okay, I want to know your background. How old are you?
I'm 17 right now. I'm in grade 12.
Oh, you look like 30, older than my son.
Thank you.
And you're very mature like that. I think some man here want to looking for a job. At the beginning I saw you. And also how you come on this idea, I want to know, as a student.
So
you get a fire someday? Your house fired?
No, but I'm currently building a drone for one of my school projects. It's one of my club.
I want you to know the source, how you think. Like I always want to dream how to get money. So I'm thinking about the way the money, Uber, how to make money. I'm always think about like my investment banking guy. I always think about what's a good topic in the future. We can get more money, you know. That's why I'm rich. But I want to know how you get the idea, a drone to fire, you know, nothing. How you get it?
Nothing very special. It's just one day I was, you know, when I was considering this great opportunity, this contest, while I was building a drone for one of my club projects as well. So this idea just kind of flashed through my mind, and so that's basically how I invented like the idea of using drones to do public safety purposes.
Yeah, I think the whole world, like England, like Europe, like Canada, like US, there are a lot of cities over 100 years. So I heard the news from England, like they have a fire in the middle town because before the construction is very narrow street, so even a fire car cannot drive through. I just came back from New York, and I saw the building almost will be turned around, and I'm thinking about if we want to rebuild the building, I think that the construction car cannot get in because it's old times construction. So I think your idea is very good. That's why I want to ask this kind of question. I want to notice everybody's successful, everybody do something by some reason. For example, do you know how the Facebook funded? I read the news, I read the story. So I would suggest that you young guys, the most important thing for you is to think about around yourself. For example, last year we get a business competition from Vancouver, a student. They get a #1 campaignship. He funded a translate for asset. Like in the university, the professor speak English. If the professor sometimes is from India or Chinese, like my kid said, oh, my math teacher is just my daddy is a Chinglish. A lot of people cannot understand. So if they have a machine translate everyone, so everybody will be understand by your mother language. So I would say idea is very important. For example, I talk about Facebook. Because he loses girlfriend. Am I right? And then he went to a social media and found another girlfriend. And then they did a Facebook, so easy. A lot of diaper, a lot of kids at their stuff. It's from my mother. They have no way to take care of the baby. Oh, sorry, my dear, I put some money to do a diaper. Make life easy. So that's a business. Do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you
do a
very
wonderful
much.
job.